All right. Here we go. Grab that. Come over here. Go. Boop. Get that. Cool. Got that out. Okay, cool. Close that out. Make sure that's up. That is good. Alrighty, dighty. Now, where was... Alright. Today's Saturday. This Sunday. Oh my goodness. I really thought today was Saturday. I'm behind the times that I guess. Well, I guess I did look at my calendar. So yeah, it is Saturday. We are edging closer to the new year. A lot of today editing, so a couple things I need to get done, and then I will be spending some time on planning. I've got my wall calendar to fill out. I got a new fresh journal to start the new year, so pretty excited for that. And we're going to get rocking and rolling here. I'm going to have to add some more to my to-do list. So I guess give it a couple more minutes, see if anybody shows up, and then we'll chat a little bit about some loans. Some loans. Hope everybody is having a great weekend. I am excited everything's going to go back to normal after the chaos of the holidays. Let's see here. I want to close that. Oh, you know what? Well, so much for that. Oh, I also have the Aspire event coming up here on the Aspire Real Estate coming up here on the 3rd. This one is going to be a master class on Monday. So seems pretty cool. It's going to be a 3-day event down in DC. And I'm expecting it to be a room filled with private money lenders, hard money lenders, all types of lenders, and then people who want to learn how to utilize funds. I think it's going to be a real great experience. Right. So let's go over some DSCR loans a little bit. Just get some practice in, get a rep in. So DSCR loans, debt service coverage ratio loans. It's a non-QM loan that qualifies you based on the property's income, not your personal income. So that's the great thing about these. Non-QM loans, they qualify you mostly based on your credit score is the main factor, but they're great for self-employed individuals. Okay, so think contractors, business owners, Um, Anybody with variable income that might be writing a lot of things off. So their taxable income actually looks lower than it really is. And that makes it difficult to qualify for a traditional loan. The good thing is, with non-QM loans, uh, you can have, they're better for self-employed borrowers with those fluctuating incomes. So DSCR loans are a great tool specifically for investing because they are business purpose loans, which means that you cannot occupy the property. So with a couple of the conventional loans, you can actually house hack, so you can live in the property, rent one unit out, and live in the other one. And this way, if you're renting like a 4 unit or something, you could be potentially living rent free, which would be pretty sweet. I'll actually start looking into that next year. But with DSCR loans, you cannot do that. And so um, that's kind of the only drawback there. But the good thing is that the income is based off the property itself, or the loan is based off the income that the property is generating. So you don't actually need to use your personal income to qualify for this investment property, which is pretty cool. So most lenders are going to be around 80% on a purchase and a general refinance. But if you're getting cash out, it's probably going to be around 75. Um, Most programs are kind of the same. A lot of lenders do have some nuances when it comes to like gift funds and seasoning requirements, things of that nature. Some lenders allow summer seconds, some don't. And then there's of course all types of different programs for 1 to 4 units, 5 to 8 units, that sort of thing. So there's a lot of different properties that you could actually use a DSCR loan on. Um, Going all the way from single family to mixed use and some commercial. That's really fuzzy. All right. So DSCRs calculating based off the property's income. Um, to calculate your DSCR, you want to take your property income and divide it by your debt payments. Okay, so if you had $2,000 in income coming in, and you had $1,800 in debt payments, that's pretty much like your mortgage, your principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. So 2,000 divided by 1,800 would give you a DSCR of 1.1. And so what that means is if you have a one, you're breaking even. If you have more than a one, your property is cash flowing. So at least having a 1.2 is pretty strong. As long as you have positive cash flow, it at least shows the lender that the property is going to be able to cover its debts. So that's the good thing there. All right. So there's no W-2s, no tax returns. These are great for self-employed borrowers or unconventional earners. There's also no limit on the amount of loans you can have. If you were getting a conventional loan, there would be a cap. You only have about 10 of those loans before you are too much of a risk to lend. So if you're maxed out on those loans, you can switch over and get one of these. They come in a lot of different flavors. DSCR has 15, 30s, 40s. They also have interest only. They have arms. So there is a lot of different things you can do. You can also have interest only arms. Um, so they're very versatile loans in that regard. Now, these are not only for experienced investors. First of all, you can actually purchase a property that is not currently being rented out with a DSCR loan. And so what they'll do is they'll look at a market rent analysis to see what other properties are renting for in the area. And so that's how they'll determine what your property could rent for, and that's what they'll base that DSCR off of. Okay, so being a new investor, you can still get one of these because the DSCR is relying off the property's cash flow to qualify, not your income. Now, some lenders do pose restrictions when it comes to first-time investors. Um, And so, even if you can show that you were, part of a project, that can still count for your experience. But some lenders do impose a 5% LTV restriction, or maybe that you're not allowed to purchase a first or a short-term rental. Um, those can be a whole other ball game because those already come with a 5% LTV reduction just because they're a little bit riskier. That being said, always underwrite them as a long-term first. It's probably going to be easier to find long-term rental comps over short-term rental comps, and it lets you navigate around that penalty. Uh, a high credit score is better when it comes to any loan generally, but you can have about a 620. I have a lender that goes to a 575 on DSCR. But the better your credit score, the better terms and potential rates you might be able to get. So you don't need a perfect credit score, but a better credit score always helps. And these loans do not come with any renovation funds. So you can rehab a property, put some sweat equity or build some value in there, and then you can refinance with a DSCR loan. And so that will allow you to recoup that cash. And if you're doing the method, now you can plug it into your next property and keep rolling. All right, so a couple of things that can boost your DSCR ratios. Increasing rents, that's pretty simple, or reducing your operating expenses. Now, when it comes to increasing rents, there's really a couple of things that you could potentially do. If you fix up your property, you could potentially attract a higher paying tenant, which will naturally increase your DSCR. You can also make sure that you are staying competitive in your market and checking what the local properties in your area are going for, and just based off that. Maybe you could invest in some energy efficient upgrades or something similar. Maybe reduce some property management expenses. Rental comps or market rent analysis can support higher income, so that can also be a good idea. Now you'll need when you go to qualify for one of these, you'll need lease agreements if the property is being rented out. The lender's going to want to see about 12 months of rental history to show that the property is being rented, has stable income. If it's not rented, because you can actually purchase with a DSCR, you'll use a form 1007 if you're doing a single family rental, or a 1025 with rent rolls for multifamily properties. And the 1025 pretty much the 1007 is already in the 1025. And so that is still just a market rent analysis. This one just has the rent rolls included on that 1025. And you're going to want to have at least, I would say 6 months, but there are lenders with no reserve requirements. There are also lenders with 3 month reserve requirements and 12 months reserve. But I would say 6 months is probably a healthy spot with most lenders. And that's going to be your PITI divided by or multiplied by however many months reserves. And these have a lot of applications. Of course, you can use them on a variety of properties. You can also do blanket loans for multiple properties, which can also increase your borrowing power because you're putting all of those, however many properties you want on this loan, and that you're leveraging the values in all those properties, so that gives you more borrowing power. You just have to watch out for if you default, you could be putting all those properties at risk. So that's something to consider. Short-term rentals, you can use them on. Lenders can rely heavily on AirDNA for the income projections. And they're also looking to see an occupancy rate of 60 to 70%. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. And then some of them are even checking your market scores. So these are DSCR are great loans to do a refinance after house hacking, because with an FHA loan or a VA loan, for instance, if you were to refinance with another one of those loans, you would have to stick in the property for another year. DSCR will allow you to refinance and get your equity out of the property and move on to your next investment. So these are great to be used in conjunction with hard money loans. So if you're doing the BAR method, where you buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and repeat, this is going to be great. DSCR loans do not include any rehab funds, and so you have the hard money you use to acquire the property, or just do your rehab, and then you refinance with the DSCR loan. Now, for someone who might be flipping some properties, if you were to fix up a property, maybe you're going to sell on the market for whatever reason, it didn't decide to sell, and so now you're thinking that you can turn it into a rental. Some lenders, at least with the SCR, have restrictions on how long a property needs to be off market before they will loan on it. Why that is, I honestly couldn't tell you. But it is a interesting restriction that I have seen on many a guideline. Excuse me. You can also use them with 1031 exchanges. You can use those proceeds to cover a down payment. I know on 1031 you have to move pretty quickly. You've got 45 days to identify a property and then 180 days to close on it. So you have a full timeline of 180 days. You have to get all that money gone before that timeline hits, or you get taxed on it. They're also good for Section 8 or assisted living, because they qualify as long-term rentals under DSCR guidelines. And Section 8, I don't know about assisted living, but Section 8 is guaranteed government income, so that is very, very good. Well, yeah, today I've been working on a lot of edits, and I still definitely have some to finish up. Well, now all the transcribing is done. I just need to shuffle it over and make it fun. So that's going to be a whole other learning process. One with a lot of fun tools, and we're getting a lot of experience. I had like 5 hours of videos to edit, and then Descript took it down to nothing. So pretty excited about that. But I think that I'm going to wrap it up here soon, and I will be back tomorrow, 7 p.m. I think I'm going to go get myself some food, get these pups fed, get these cats fed, and I'll be back at it. So, y'all have an awesome Monday, and we will see you tomorrow.